that you were the star athlete, voted most likely to be an Olympian in high school, eventually became an enlisted Marine, assigned as a military police officer and the starting center on the U.S. Marine Division I women's basketball team. Undoubtedly a very promising future. Anyone would agree. But what if an innocent game of basketball would lead to an accident so debilitating? I'm your host, Rachel Dares.
And I'm Marshall Thomas, and you're on PASSION-Driven.TV.
Good morning. Joining us today is Miss Angela Madsen. Angela, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me here at PASSION-Driven.TV. It's an honor to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you. You've got some great stories and some wonderful life experiences to share. We can't wait to get into this. The viewers are going to be just in awe of some of the things that you've accomplished over the years since being in the Marines. That right there. Both Rachel and I are service brats as well.
Yes.
And I know your family, from what I've read about you, was also a military family. And so that's was the core of it right there. And I'm sure, I just thought it was odd that you would join the Marines. Most women want to go into the Air Force or the Navy.
Oh, I wanted to go in the hardest one. Somebody told me I would never make it there, so I had to go.
This is a woman that will take a challenge no matter what it is. I love that about you. Fantastic.
Well, within reason and the scope of legal limits.
Gotcha. I understand fully. Fantastic. Well, please walk us through some of the early days. I know in school you were quite the athlete. Looking at your scrapbook earlier in the green room, we saw that you were into fishing and boating and basketball, and probably with, what, 5 brothers? Probably
5 brothers.
5 brothers, not a sport you didn't play.
Right, yeah, I was always first pick for the team. It's like somebody asked me, what order did you come in? It's like, middle? No, I came in the first pick for the team.
Number 1.
Yeah, voted most likely in high school to become an Olympic athlete and joined the Marine Corps. And then all of a sudden somebody saw me play basketball, and I got new orders to play basketball for the all-women Marine team. So, yeah, I was a center. I'm 6'1", standing, 4'6", sitting, and 2 feet if I fall over on the dance floor. Hand rim to hand rim.
Oh, gosh. I love that.
Right. So most likely voted as, to be an Olympian, an enlisted Marine, and now part of the star basketball lineup in the Marine. That is so impressive.
Thanks. Yeah. It's how I got injured, though, too. Unfortunately, I got tripped in a game and somebody landed on my back and ruptured 2 discs and damaged the sciatic nerve. And that was the end of my military career. And then degeneration. I had surgery at the VA hospital in '93, and the students took out the wrong disc. They put the bone grafts in wrong and drilled a hole or screwed my spinal cord. So it compromised my spinal cord during the surgery.
Now, you say students. I mean, they're the ones that actually operated and did the surgery on you?
Yeah, I'm not sure if the actual surgeon was there or the one overseeing. I'm not sure what really happened in the surgery. Mm-hmm. They tried to make all kinds of stories to say. So I'm not sure. But we are, they're teaching hospitals.
Right.
But it could happen anywhere.
Sure.
It was what happened after that was unconscionable. The expunging evidence of wrongdoing from the medical record. Denying responsibility, basically. I was forced to try to live on a 10% disability rating, $78 a month, so I ended up losing my job, my house, relationship. I didn't sign on to be with somebody in a wheelchair. Pretty much lost everything, became a homeless vet, hit rock bottom, and all I could see was a future of suffering, and I didn't see how it could have been a blessing for me. The chief of spinal cord injury unit, he even said that my physical condition was a waste of human life.
Wow. Wow.
Deplorable.
That is. Now, take us back, Angela. I mean, you wake up after your surgery thinking, well, I'm probably healed. You would think, because you went to do the surgery in hopes that you actually would be healed, correct?
Yeah, that's the goal with the fusion, was to stop the paralysis, stop the collapsing of the spine on the nerve roots. But when I did come to, it's like I couldn't feel my feet, and I was in so much pain I couldn't move with the bone grafts being out of place. You know, and then they were going to fix it, and they never did. So it's just been, it's like the rods. I have metal rods and a ladder inside my back, and it's like they have teeth. It's like they gnaw at me from the inside out. It's been a life of pain and suffering, but I've kind of balanced it out with some amazing adventures.
Yeah, it seems like it. Well, we've definitely heard your story. So here it is. You wake up and you can't feel your legs. And what is going through your mind when they actually reveal what has happened? Or did you not even know that this has happened?
Oh, it's like, you know, as an athlete, as an active person, as a person who I like hard physical work, you just see it all ending. You just see everything ending. It's a feeling of hopelessness, being overwhelmed. You know, like I said, you know, like count your losses, you know, count your blessings, and you just see what you've lost and not what you've gained.
Sure.
So that's kind of like where everybody comes to terms with disability or any transition in life. It's like, you know, where do you go? What do you do? Here, you know, your life's changed. It's not taken away though.
Right, but
okay.
it's that hope that, you know what, you still have your life.
Life is changed, not taken away.
Oh,
Change. There you go.
absolutely.
Okay. Exactly.
Absolutely. So what was that change? What was that change? I mean, I knew that at the reveal of, you know, not being able to walk again, not being able to do the stuff that you were, you know, that you had planned. I mean, you're an athlete, you know, so you were in hopes and actually playing some ball. I mean, what was that change in your mindset?
Well, it was changed everything. I became a homeless vet. You know, it's like everything just kind of fell apart, and I didn't foresee like getting back out into the lineup surfing. I didn't foresee getting back into sports. I didn't really see any of that. Like I said, all I could just see was what I lost, and you know, they were constantly telling me I was going to have another surgery to fix it. I went to UCLA Medical Center to see if they could fix it, and all they could offer me was a morphine pump in my spinal cord, and just said, no, we're not going to do that. And then some of the guys were sitting around, and they were talking, and they said, well, you should go to the Veterans Wheelchair Games, you know, and I did. I actually got brave enough to travel to the Veterans Wheelchair Games, and I signed up for 5 different sports, and that was it. It just, you know, the same feeling I had before as an athlete, it just kind of restored me.
Sure.
And it just kind of gave me hope, and I just got back into sports, and I haven't stopped. And then I just, you know, started taking on more extreme adventures and more extreme goals, and yeah, that's like now I've got 9 Guinness World Records for rowing across oceans, and
It's amazing.
I'm a 2-time Paralympian, so which is, you know, parallel world. There I am at the Paralympics as opposed to the Olympics.
Right.
Exactly. Is that what the medal is?
That's what the medal is. Yeah, this is a bronze medal from London 2012.
Nice.
I was in Beijing in 2008, and I was rowing, and I missed the medal round there by 0.07 of a second.
Oh,
So it
gosh.
was beep, and my boat was the second beep.
Just a whisker.
Yeah. So I went and rowed a couple more oceans while I was, you know, waiting for the Paralympics to come back
Why
around
not?
again.
Got to stay in shape, right?
Then I skippered this crew of 16 across the Atlantic Ocean, and after you do that, all you want to do is go throw things and yell. So I went to the Veterans Wheelchair Games again, and they said, oh, you'll be good at throwing shot put. So it's like, okay, I'll try it. And I was making the team and breaking the world records within a year. So
When I read that about you, I said to Rachel, really, shot put? Because the only reason I got a letter in school was I was too skinny for football. They would have killed me. Basketball really wasn't my game, and we didn't have a very good baseball game. So I ran track. I could run. I could run like the wind. And one of the events that I did was shot put. And I said to Rachel, God, really, shot put? I'd like to see that, because there's a twisting motion that has to go with that before you release the shot put. So
right. Well, we throw it from a stationary chair.
So okay.
It's, your chair is staked down into the ground, so when you have all that momentum, when you launch a De Piazza, Yeah, I went to Italy after London, and it was televised all over Europe, Eurosport TV, so people recognized me. So I got to hear Lancia di Piazza.
Ah, very nice.
So I learned how to say it
Beautiful.
in Italian.
Very
I love that.
We didn't get televised here, but hopefully this time, 2016, Rio de Janeiro.
Very nice.
That's right. That's the next goal is Rio de Janeiro. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Beautiful.
On to the next goal.
Yes, it's what I love about you. Always looking ahead, looking ahead. I think this is what we all have to do, right? We all have to have a goal and a place to attain, something to attain.
Yeah.
Some people say don't make that too big, though. Sounds like she's got mountains to climb.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's another row. I'll probably go back to the water after the 2016. 2017 will probably be my solo row.
Solo row from where to where?
I don't know yet. I was thinking about crossing the Gulf of Mexico,
Okay.
perhaps, Florida to Texas, or row into Hawaii again by myself.
Yeah, why not?
That's mind-boggling to me also, is right? It's from Long Beach to Honolulu.
Yeah.
Yeah, that took 60 days.
Wow.
60 days. The other thing I asked about your rowing adventures is, isn't there a team that will accompany you on these adventures? And you said, no, I just go.
Yeah, there's no support boat. You have to have all your food and supplies on your own little boat. You have a desalinator to desalinate the ocean water because you can't possibly carry that much water.
Right.
Weighs a lot, yeah.
And your food is dehydrated, freeze-dried meals with protein bars, power.
Your
protein
little
shakes and
boat, the Spirit of Orlando, how did that get its name?
My friend Orlando Rogers, he was in the same race I was in 2007 when I rowed across the Atlantic with an amputee from France who didn't speak any English and I didn't speak any French.
Oh, wow.
And that took 67 days. But he was in one of the boats, the other boats, and we became friends. And he was going to be my project manager for my solo row, and we just talked about it all the time. And when I was circumnavigating Great Britain in a rowboat, he's from the UK, so he came, helped me prepare the boat, and we were just friends ever since the one row. And
Nice.
on I think it was May 15th, he got killed in a plane crash.
Oh.
And so I just decided that I was going to do a tribute row. He was the youngest decorated Royal Marine. I don't believe that there are any borders as far as PTSD and what our guys suffer from combat, and I don't really see any borders anywhere.
No, well, you suffered your own individual form of post-traumatic
right.
stress syndrome, didn't you not? I mean,
Oh,
during
sure.
this whole ordeal, how could you
Sure.
not? Being unceremoniously released from the Marines and on, yeah.
I mean, I can't stand the smell of a surgical mask, and going around the VA, even though I'm on the PVA and our office is there, it's kind of hard for me to
Okay.
go to the VA every once in a while.
It's funny you say
There are
that.
little things that'll trip my memory. and-
Exactly. Our olfactory senses will do that to us, yeah.
But yeah, I don't react the same way though that I used to.
Okay.
I mean, you can manage your PTSD with therapy and with it's a work.
It's
a lot of hard
a lot of hard work.
actually.
You really have to look inside yourself and
You do.
and come to grips with who you are inside.
You develop these conditioned responses and just and something will trigger it and you'll respond negatively, or what worked for you then doesn't work for you anymore. So you have to kind of really be on top of it.
Readjust.
Like
Yeah.
I want to know what your self-talk is. I mean, for somebody like you that has accomplished so much, what is I am just enamored with that kind of passion. I mean, what is your self-talk when you get in it? What happens?
When I start doubting or thinking I can't do something, I just think about all the things that I've already done. There's it starts out with little goals and little victories and they're just all there to call to draw back on. It's like when I got back out surfing, it's like I thought I would never surf again. When I got what little bit of stuff I had, my personal stuff, I found a application where I was going to do a surf contest. I was a really good stand-up surfer. And I crumpled it up and threw it away, and I said, I'm never going to be able to do that again. And then 2 years later, I was back out in the lineup. I was just bodyboarding, and then I ended up sitting down backwards, and I developed my own alternative style of surfing and started doing, cutbacks and all the same tricks, just a little differently.
Sure.
And Linda Benson, who was the surfer in Gidget, said, "Hey, why don't you come out and do an expression session for women surfers with disabilities?"
Right.
Nice.
And I said, "Sure." And then I got there, and the waves were hitting the bottom of the Oceanside Pier, or the Ocean Beach.
Okay.
And she said, "Oh, it's too big for you, so I'm not going to let you surf out there." And my family came down to see me surf, and it's like,
I'm surfing.
So I was
Sorry.
like, I just kind of got my board on my lap, and I was butt scooting backwards with my board on my lap out to the break next to the contest. This break's called Avalanche. And I had a 10-foot surfboard, which is like not proper for avalanche, so I kind of got worked. But I didn't care. I was going to surf anyway.
Right.
So I was over there surfing, and then my friend Kim Hamrock comes up to me, and she says, "Hey, it's open entry in Biarritz, France, the Women's World Championships of longboard surfing." So she said, "That means you don't have to do the pre-qualifying contest," because people always tell me I can't. They don't let me enter contests, so I paid my $50 and didn't tell them I had a disability. And I entered the contest, and I showed up in Biarritz with my two-piece Pope Bisect surfboard.
I love
And it's like, "Angela Madsen, come on up, check in, you're surfing in heat number 2. And I just wheeled up, and it's like shock and awe. There's like,
I can imagine.
"Oh my God, we've let a disabled person in the contest."
Now
it's like,
what?
now what do we do? Do we let
Right.
her surf? They let me surf, and it
Sure.
was fine.
Heck yeah.
But I didn't win, and my surfboard got lost, and the airlines lost it. So
Oh,
I ended up surfing this banana board, this Laird Hamilton stand-up paddleboard, and in the contest. So I didn't do well in the contest. But as the contest ended, all the women surfers were lined up on the wall, sitting there watching, and I had like one of the best surf sessions I'd ever had.
Nice.
I caught this wave way on the outside. I did all my tricks, and I was exhausted at the end of the wave. It seemed like it went on forever.
Yeah.
And just the women surfers were cheering. So I didn't go there to win a contest. I went there to surf with the best women surfers on the planet.
That's right.
That was my goal, to surf in a major surf contest, and I did it.
Beautiful.
So Linda Benson, afterwards, we were sitting at the concert at the end, and she just retched up and shook my hand, and she said, "It took guts to do what you did." It's like, yeah, I know.
I got it. It seems like you're such an inspiration, especially to those women surfers. I mean, do you do any mentorships now, I'm sure, or any charity events that, I think you had mentioned when we were doing the pre-interview that you had this charity event over the weekend or something.
I do all kinds of events. I speak at schools. I work at the Ready, Set, Gold program, which takes Paralympic and Olympic athletes and introduces them to high school kids. We work in the physical education classes with them, the PE classes. So I do like 6 visits at Venice High School. I talk at schools. I talk at all different kinds of groups. It's, about transitioning and how to transition and how to move positively forward in life. And so, it just fits in all different age groups and all different groups, like women's sailing groups, veterans groups, disabled groups, able groups, it doesn't matter. So I speak all over, and I just, like at the last one was an FSH muscular dystrophy event, and I volunteered to auction off a prize, which was a row to Catalina.
Okay.
So I just finished this weekend rowing to Catalina with child actor Brock Wademan.
Okay.
Nice.
So, and his dad. So we just finished rowing.
Beautiful.
So I do things all the time. Tomorrow we'll be at the StubHub Center, the tennis center. I'll take my ocean rowing boat there, and I'll take my Concept 2 rowing machines and introduce some of the veterans to rowing. So
Very
I
nice.
just kind of go all over the Abilities Expo. I'm there. With the book being out this year, I've got some book signings lined up, like Bakersfield, Barnes & Noble. And
Okay.
Very nice.
And,
so this is
some other
fresh off the presses.
pretty much, yeah.
Rowing against the wind. And a culmination, you said, of over 5 years of stories and adventures included in the Rowing Against the Wind. Very nice. Well, I wish you the best with that.
Well, yeah, when I go out and speak, everybody says, "Do you have a book? Do you have a book?"
Yeah,
So it's like, I had to take all my journals and all my notes, and I had to just start putting one together. And I don't get a lot of sponsors and all that, and I'm kind of a humble person, and I don't really ask a lot. So I like to have something to offer. And so I said, yeah, I'll just
You
do
have
a
plenty.
book. I'll do a
You have
book.
plenty to offer.
Your cup runneth over, yeah,
Yes.
with things to offer. I'm still...
Yeah, life rich in content.
So what lies ahead in the future here, besides the book signings and 2016?
More speaking engagements, training, obviously, for 2016. Got to go back to the training for throwing, which is way different than rowing and way different than ocean rowing. So if I'm going to make the team, I have to get back up to
getting back into shape for throwing instead of rowing.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. So
looks like rowing would be keep you in shape for just about any event. I remember being on the air in 1984 when the Olympics were here, and I just out of curiosity was looking up who is in the best shape of all the Olympians, Olympic athletes, and it's the rowers. I did not know that. Of all the athletes you could pick, they are the ones that have to stay in the best shape.
Yeah, it's the sprint rowing. It's a total body workout with the rowing. Even if you have a mobility impairment, it's there's static load. You're using all your core and everything to stabilize yourself in the seat. I've been a rowing coach for years, and I've seen people gain way more from rowing, and I've gained way more from rowing than I have in any other sport or any other training that I've done. So, I try to get out there and encourage as many people as possible to use it for cross-training. If you're not interested in competing in it, use it for cross-training.
Definitely.
Use it to make yourself better for whatever you're going to do.
You hear that, people watching? Get yourself a rowing machine. Stay in shape.
I think the only thing I would be afraid of would be sharks.
Well, if you're on the Concept 2 rowing machine, then you got to worry about the land sharks, I guess. But you can park that thing in front of your TV, play your music. You can race them. Concept2.com. They have all these race challenges and great web support, and it's a competition. You can actually plug each rowing machine in, and like at the carnival where you squirt the water and the horse goes.
Right.
Well, you have to work a little harder, but you're rowing and your boat's moving, so they actually race them.
Yeah.
So I've been to Paris doing a Concept 2 race, and they're international as well as national, and they're a lot of fun, and it's good training. Most people rowers hate the erg, but I use it. I do what's called an insane train before I'm going to row across an ocean, where I do I duplicate the 2 hours on, 2 hours off schedule, because that's what you do when you row across an ocean. You push off land and you row 2 hours, and you sleep 2, you row 2, you sleep 2, you row 2, you sleep 2, all the way there.
Wow.
So you never have any longer than 2 hours off unless there's a big storm and you have to put out your parachute anchor and get inside your cabin and just survive. And that's the only time that you don't go the 2 hours on, 2 hours off. So I do that with the rowing machine and evaluate different clothing products, different nutrition products, see what's going to work on the boat, because once you're pushed off on your row, it's too late.
Oh, yeah.
So, you got to make sure.
Could have used that.
You eat something that doesn't agree with you. It's like, oh, no. You've got 60 days worth of food you can't eat. It's like, oh, what do you do?
Right.
You just got to suck it up.
Fasting.
Yeah, it's better to know before you go and, plan, train, plan.
Right.
And even think about that in the training process of what you would eat during the process of making one of those adventures across the ocean.
Yeah. Well, you definitely have to think about those things because, 60 days, that's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, so Angela, thank you so much for being on PASSIONDRIVEN.TV. There's nothing stopping you. You are unstoppable. So what is it that you want to leave with them?
It's basically never give up, and small steps. You have to remember to pat yourself on the back, and you have to remember the victories. And we tend to think negatively, and you can teach yourself how to think positively and how to move positively forward through life. It's a learned process and a choice. We don't have to succumb to situation and circumstance. Things happen to us for a reason usually. I've found I was a natural athlete and a natural adventurer, and I didn't really quite give up all the way. The 2 years was hard, but I came back to myself and into my own, and back to my comfort zone and back to what I love to do and what I feel naturally compelled and driven to do, row across oceans, and that's what I've gotten back to that. But it's been by small steps and by small victories and by just keeping moving positively forward.
Love
Perfect.
that. That's
Well,
what
thank you
Passion
so
Driven's
much.
all about.
See, I belong here.
You do.
I
This is my
sure
space,
do.
man. I own this.
You sure do. Well, it has been a great pleasure. And go look for that book, Rowing Against the Wind. I think you'll enjoy that. I can't wait to dig into it.